So me and a mate were talking about intercooler spraying or water injection. You know, you can spray it into the inlet manifold if you want, or you can spray the intercooler itself. Loads of different ways you can do it. Methanol, nitrous oxide, water, and water works quite well. You know, I've seen a lot of videos on it. He sent me a load of stuff on it, and if you think about it logically, it's just like sweat on your skin. You know, it drops the temperatures, it sprays the outside of the intercooler and just cools the charge going through into the inlet manifold. So I thought I'd give it a go and just do it on a budget. So here's what I've bought. So all of this is a 12 volt car wash kit, well, or car hose kit, right? So you've got the hose, the fittings, the suction with a filter, and a pump. And I thought to myself, this pump has to be better than just the washer jet pump, you know, for washing your screens. You know, it is. I mean, it's not the best. It's 5.5 litres per minute and 80 watt, but it has to be better than a screen wash jet. All of that, 28 bucks. And that is all the fittings, the hose, some extra hose, but all the fittings and everything are all there. Now, this is an outside misting kit. This has all the hose, all of the little, like more than enough little fittings, all of the little jets with the fittings, came with all the cable ties, and even a nice little pipe cutter. All of that was 23 bucks, and probably more than what I need. And to trigger it, I bought a hob switch. Now you can buy adjustable ones, but what I did was I just bought one that was 5 to 7 psi. So that goes into, you know, you can tee it off anywhere, but it's basically a pressure switch. So I have tested it. And basically, when the car starts making positive boost, I went for the 5 to 7 psi because I thought that's a nice way of arming it. You don't have to wait till it's up to 10, 15 psi. You can have it start coming on quite low, but it's not going to be on while you're driving around town. So at 5 to 7 psi, this will trigger this, and then spray water all over the intercooler. I haven't tried it yet, but I've tested this. And this works. So that's only a 2-wire, nice and simple. All of this needs to be plumbed up. So 28 bucks, $22, 35. So that's not too bad so far. It would have been a lot less if I had wanted a generic plastic bottle, but I didn't. So that there was $110. And the only reason I bought that is purely for the wanky value of it's the same as that one that I use for the screen wash, and I'll just put it over that side. Nice and symmetrical, nice and shiny. Wank value. Now to do this, I have had to pull the car apart. Some more has to come off, but I am kind of pulling the car apart anyway as I go through it, checking it, nut and bolt and checking it, solid mounting the engine, and doing a few other things. I'm waiting for a few bulbs to turn up and stuff, all to try and get it on the road legal. So it is kind of apart, and some more has to come apart. So I thought while I'm at it, I will do this. So as you can see, I've had to take the bumper off. The lights were already coming out for some more bulbs, but I had to take the bumper off to be able to get the guard off, to be able to fit all this underneath the guard. So pressure switch position, because this is ITVs and you've got all the vacuum hoses, they've got to go to a vacuum manifold. So there's a bung on one end, the other end goes to the brake booster, but this side I pulled it out, I drilled it, I tapped it to 1/8 MPT. If that will even focus, probably not. Oh, there you go. And then that can screw back into there, and then that can screw into that. So I just needed to seal up that hole on the bottom. So with the rubber O-ring that's in there, I just put a nut and bolt through it, tightened it up, and I'll stop that leaking. Pretty much the exact same as what I did with that one there. So I just put a fitting on the side there. That's all it is. Just drilled and tapped it, threw the air fitting into it. There's only a hose going onto it. It's not under any pressure, so it's just to flow water from here to an auxiliary tank. So this is a little filter for the water pump. So I put some welding rod on it and just cable tied it so it should sit flat on the bottom. So the in on this pump is pretty easy. The out is threaded. I didn't really have much. It has this fitting that screws on, and then that goes into a normal hose fitting, whereas I'm not too keen on that. So going through my bits and pieces, I found an AN fitting that fitted, and it allows me to have a bit more of an angle as well. And then all I did was I tapped the end with this little fitting. That can now screw into the end of that, and then hopefully I'll be able to put that hose straight on over the hose clamp. See how that goes. I went back to using the fittings that came with that pump because the one I made was slightly leaking. And there's 10 of these little mist nozzles. Thought I'd use them all. Alright, so after a bit of trial and error, it's all been tested and it's all fully working properly now. Just got to be put back together and you know, sorted out where everything's going to go. So water tank goes through the side, fills up big tank. So that's now 7 litres of water. That gets picked up through the pump. I went back to using the fittings that came with that pump because the one I made was slightly leaking, whereas this one is press fit. It doesn't. That hose is a very tight fit onto here now, so there's no leaking. So 7 litres of water comes around, tucks underneath, and then these 10 nozzles are all going to be in that gap facing the intercooler. So once I've got all that out, I will show you it all working. But if you want to just go with a normal tank, no hob switch, and just have the pump itself on a switch, which it does actually come with a switch and a cigarette lighter, you know, so you can just plug it straight into your cigarette lighter, turn it on and off via a switch if you wanted to. That pump and the setup at the front was around about $50, so it can be done pretty cheap. The hob switch, you know, was 35, and then that tank itself was 110. So that's the main part. And yeah, like I say, the only reason I got that tank is because it mirrors the one on the other side, and you know, aesthetically pleasing. But you can do this for about $50 and have it on a switch. Strange enough, I also do have a switch in the car that turns the whole system off. So if you're tootling around town and doing small bits and pieces, it doesn't have to be on. And then when you want to go for a drive, turn it on, and once it gets to 5 to 7 psi, it will just start spraying that intercooler. Not bad, and all hidden behind the guard. I made these little ducts, well, just folded aluminium just to help duct all of the air straight through the intercooler. So there's only bits that can go around by the lights, a little less on that side, but they duct the air straight through. And then that's just welding wire, thick TIG welding wire, poked through the holes. It can't actually go anywhere. And that's what it looks like. There's 10 misting nozzles there. They're not full-on spray nozzles, these are just misting nozzles. You can see there's a bit of a gap. So let's see how it works. That'll work. See, nice clean setup. Washer bottle, intercooler sprayer. Will all be hidden behind the grill, and is all hidden behind the guard. Top it up by here. Hob switch does the rest. Perfect.